Chapter 1. The Requirements. In order for this guide to work, you must have the following requirements. A partner with a very close free-to-play combat level as yourself. The max you could go is plus or minus 6 levels, but it is highly recommended not to have a huge level difference. One member with 85 magic and teleblock, and the other with 13 summoning to summon a thorny snail. Recommended skills or items. These are not required to skull bots but are helpful in sculling them. For the Sculler, protection from melee and tanking gear. For the Rifter, magic for ice splits. Chapter 2, the setup. Typically, you want to have enough materials to skull bots, survive a few hits from the bots, and survive potential attacks from real PKers. These are a few basic setups on both scouting and sculling. You can change the variations if you want, but the basic requirements are needed. For the Sculler, you will need anti-dragon shield, glory or teleport out of the wilderness, teleblock runes, mage offensive armor, tanking armor, a staff of air and mine runes, food, super defense potions or Ceradomin brews. For the Rifter, anti-dragon shield, glory or teleport out of the wilderness, ice blitz runes, potential of high specking weapons such as dragon claws or AGS, mage offensive armor, food, super set, and around 5 plus thorny snail pouches. This setup can be modified to your own PKing style. Chapter 3, Scouting. So what is a bot? So a bot is basically a program that can do certain commands without a human. In RuneScape, this is considered against the rules and your account can be banned if you're caught. In order to see how a bot looks like, simply look at the following. The name. Bots usually have names that look like you just banged the keyboard to form a word. Combat levels. Most bots range around 80 to 100 combat, with 80 to 90 being the most common. The max level a bot can have is 113 in free-to-play combat. Bots typically have no skills besides melee. Repetition actions. Bots only move when they see the green dragons. That or perform the same actions over and over again. Non-responsive. Most bots never talk and never react to the surrounding players. So getting there. Once you have gotten your stuff, head a little bit north of the GE or northeast of Edgeville until you reach this side of the wilderness wall. Remember that this place is all multi-combat and the potential clans can attack you. So now just run north until you see the first Chaos Rift around level 5 wilderness. Enter the rift and go to the southmost portal until you reach the green dragon lair. Firstly, this lair has a lot of green dragon bots indicated in this clip. However, not all of them will be able to skull or even enter the wilderness, and that's what I'm about to explain. So the avoidable bots. The what lies below bots. These bots normally wear the following: whip, granite body, dragon plate legs, dragon med helm, and dragon boots. The easiest way to identify these bots is to simply look at the risk. Typically, a bot that will go through the wilderness would not risk more than 3 valuable items. These bots are to be avoided when scouting, as they do not enter the wilderness, but rather the Chaos Rift after finishing the What Lies Below quest. Also, the longer but most accurate way to check these bots is to see if they have 35 rune crafting or more. 35 rune crafting is the requirement for the quest. The next type of bot to look out for is the rune running bot. These bots go through the wilderness, but their chance of getting skulled is less than 10%. To identify these bots, simply look at what they're wearing. Whip, rune chain body, and rune plate legs. 90% of these bots usually have rune plate legs, and this is how you identify this bot. The last unskullable bot is the Addy Skirt bot. Most of these bots have a whip, Addy plate body, dragon plate skirt, dragon med helm, or dragon boots or Addy boots. Now the easiest way to identify this is just to look at the boots. If the bots have Addy or dragon boots, they don't really go to the wilderness, but rather the same route as the What Lies Below bots. The only reason why these bots are in a separate category is because they like to trick you into believing they could do that quest, but they haven't. So they simply throw you off. If any doubt, simply look up their name on the high scores or the player examine spell to find out if they have 35 rune crafting or more. Finally, the skullable bots. How to identify these type of bots in general. Normally they only have 3 or less valuable items when botting. They use Edgeville or Varrock to bank, and they do not have 35 rune crafting or more. The first bot is very similar to the Addy Skirt bot, but the main difference is that they do not have boots, but rather default boots. These bots walk from the Varrock east side and walk to the Chaos Tunnel Rift. This bot is another variation of this same type of bot. Just remember that bots that are entering the wilderness only have 3 item risk. The next bot is called the Addy bot, and these bots usually have Addy plate bodies, Addy legs, and a whip, and no boots. These bots are very similar to the previous one, and they follow the exact same path as the previous one, or they come from the west side of the rift from Edgeville. Now the next bot is called the Mithril bot. Now these bots are the dumbest one of them all. Typically these bots will love to get scored in their first attempt. These bots come from the west side of the rift coming from Edgeville. Now the last bot is just called the random or welfare bot. These bots usually have 3 items, but their items are either a dragon longsword or scimitar as their weapon. These bots follow the same path as the Addy and Mithril bots. Also, random bots are just players attempting to bot with 3 items that are unheard of when botting, like this picture here with the Fire Cape Torso and Dragon Scimitar that we got scold. Chapter 4. Setting up to scold the bots. After you have found at least a few bots in the world, the next step is to set up your snow and wait for the bots to come. Setting up the snow is simple. All you have to do is call the snow here, then run to this part. As you see here, the snow gets stuck here, and that is where you want the snow to be when you're scolding bots. Now simply walk to this location to prevent the snow from auto-calling. All the scholar has to do is remain on the hill and be ready to cast a tail block spell when the bot comes in range. Chapter 5. Now you're ready to scold some bots. Now there's 2 methods I'm going to be discussing. Method 1 is called the tree hugging method. This method requires airstrike spells for some stalling action. Once the bot is in the clear, simply cast a teleblock spell and start using air strikes. You want to have the bot auto-retaliate and get stuck behind the tree. The bot will continuously try to click the rift again and again. Every single time the bot goes back, simply cast another spell and run behind the tree again. Eventually, the bot's screen will miss the rift and misclick on the snail, and thus it will get scolded. This method is good if you're trying to stall for your partner to get the snail ready, someone is banking, or there's multiple bots coming. Now method 2 is called the hit and run tactic. This method requires an air staff spell or kicking. I find the air strike spell to work better since you don't hit as high as if you're kicking. You want to cast a teleblock spell once you see the bot in the clear, and then all you do is simply attack and move away from the rift till it misclicks on the snail. However, I find the perfect way to skull him very fast. Once you attack the bot, simply move 1 square north until it hits you. You have to cast 1 more spell and move that very second to at least 2 squares east of where that bot is. The bot would already have clicked the rift by that time, but since you're moving his screen slightly, it will misclick almost instantly and click on the snail and get scolded. So pros and cons on these methods. The tree hugging method is good, but bots are starting to wait longer before they click back on the rift after they get stuck behind the tree. Don't get me wrong, it still works, but there's bots that are already being updated to avoid this. Now on the hit and run method, this method is very risky solely on the fact that you're constantly getting attacked by thugs and the bot. Now green dragon bots are basically like this. They all have melee stats, no prayer, range, magic, or summoning combat levels. Thus that means their attack and strength are very accurate. Typically a max green dragon bot will be 113 combat, and this is with 99 attack, strength, defense, and HP. This is why the scholar needs to have good tanking armor, a super defense potion, protection from melee, and possibly turmoil for the best prayer defense bonus. The other downside of this is massive amount of right clicking and left clicking. You have to make sure you don't click your friend's snail, as there's a high chance that the delay from the airstrike attack will make the bot go underground. Chapter 6. Examples. I think the best way to understand how to scold bots is to see them in action. Now before I do, I would like everyone to go check my channel after this video, Set of Sorcerer. Now I'll be posting all the bot killing video clips on that channel so you can see all the possible methods that I did in order to get these bots. Also, I would really appreciate it if you will like this video and show it to someone you know. The more people doing this, the less bots we have to worry about. If you have any concerns or questions, feel free to leave me a YouTube message on my own channel. Besides that guys, I hope you guys enjoy and I'll talk to you guys later.